All right, so today we have a clip here of a Fox News reporter going completely off script and not spewing the normal Republican propaganda garbage that they say and spew every single day, 24/7, 365. Here it is.
A criminal record, but normally there are things that come to light in these investigations that might not show a criminal record, but alarms going off. What do you look for?
You want to know what I look for? And when we're talking about this type of stuff, I look for when the moment's going to come when our politicians finally decide, mostly the Republican ones, finally decide that they've had enough of people dying, children in school dying, people in banks dying, just completely randomly because people in this country have access to weapons that they do not need to have access to, okay? It's so easy to obtain these firearms. None of this other stuff fucking matters, really. It doesn't. There's an issue here. We know what the issue is. The issue is the guns. You know, Neil Cavuto can sit here and say everything he wants, and they can blame trans folk, and they can blame the Democrats, and they can blame whoever they want. But at the end of the day, there's an issue here. The issue is the guns. The issue is the prominence of guns in our culture, how easy it is to obtain one.
Well, right now, I'm looking for something that will tell us or give us information about this psychological makeup. There is information out there that has not been confirmed by me, Neil, or Fox News, from what I understand, that this shooter had phoned a friend and said that he was suicidal.
True.
And that he was going to shoot up a bank. Mm-hmm. If that is the truth, then I think that we need to, again, look at what is going on in our society. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
And he's exactly right. And before I go any further, I just need to say that this Ted Williams guy, former D.C. homicide detective, he's a regular on Fox News. He usually does the Republican propaganda thing when they have him on. This is like a one-off for him, and that's part of the reason I am showing this, because even the crazy, outspoken Republican fucking Fox News contributors and reporters, even they are getting to the point now where they are seeing that it's a gun problem. And again, you can shift the blame any direction you want, but at the end of the day, and after all of these massacres, there is one common denominator across the board. You guys want to know what that shit is? Fucking guns. I didn't need to say that, but apparently there's people that need to hear that shit. And apparently this guy, a Fox News contributor, a regular on Fox News, thinks that it's time for Fox's audience to hear this.
Just 2 weeks ago, I stood in front of a camera where you had some kids, some babies, shot in Nashville, Tennessee, with a person who, by the way, had an AR-15. And from what we've been told here, Neil, this individual had that same kind of a weapon.
He did. He did have that same kind of weapon. This is a clip from the shooting that happened in Louisville, Kentucky at a bank on April 10th. But you really have to wonder why someone would do something so terrible when Ted Cruz came out after the Nashville shooting and said, when you go to the bank and you deposit money in the bank, there are armed police officers at the bank. Why? Because we want to protect the money we save. Why on earth do we protect a stupid deposit more than our children? We have an opportunity right now to double the police officers on campus and keep kids safe. Guess what? The police officers at the bank in Louisville, Kentucky, that didn't work. That didn't happen, okay? That didn't stop this shooter from going in and ending 4 people's lives and injuring multiple others. So, you know, this rhetoric from our Republican politicians, again, is one of the main driving factors behind the reason why there hasn't been change. There hasn't been change, and people like Ted Cruz are 100% responsible for that. And, you know, I think it's important that we call people like Ted Cruz out for this type of shit, this stupid type of messaging they like to say.
And when you look at mental illness, if mental illness is involved here, and that weapon, that's a dangerous concoction. And we've got to do something in this society, Neil. I am sick and tired of standing in front of a camera. Neil, you and I have been on numerous occasions where people young people have lost their lives.
Yeah, young people do lose their lives all the fucking time to gun violence in this country. And you want to know what? We are the most developed nation on this planet. We are one of the richest countries. We are the richest country on this planet. And yet we cannot curb gun violence in this country, even though we have every single resource to do so. You talk about the Republicans want to say it's a mental health crisis, but they don't want to talk about ending the gun show loophole. They don't want to talk about how universal background checks is, something that, irregardless whether we're going to do it or not, universal background checks are super popular for Republicans and Democrats. Most of America supports universal background checks. Mandatory waiting periods. Also something else you're not going to hear Fox News talk about. No high-capacity weapons until you're 25. I think that the age should be higher. I don't know why anyone would need a high-capacity weapon. Fucking mandatory gun insurance. Required community support letters for anyone under age 25. It should be for anybody, really, that wants to have a firearm, okay? Ban weapons, periodic mental health evaluations. You guys want to know what? You guys want to know something? Japan, and I've talked about Japan before here on the channel. Japan has an extensively tough, they have extensively tough and tight gun regulation and gun laws there. And this is from an insider article from, I think earlier this year, I think it was from last month, or from earlier this month, after one of these shootings happened. If Japanese people want to own a gun, and this is all 100% true, if Japanese people want to own a gun, they must attend an all-day class, pass a written test, and achieve at least 95% accuracy during a shooting range test. They then have to pass a mental health evaluation, which takes place at a hospital, and pass a background check, in which the government digs into their criminal record and interviews friends and family. And I think that the interview friends and family, at least for me, that is a huge part of something I think we should do here. I think that is great. I think that interviewing and talking to people that are close to the one that's trying to obtain a firearm is a really, I think that could be a really, really great tool. Something that we could do here to maybe prevent some of these tragedies from happening. They can only buy shotguns and air rifles, no handguns, and every 3 years they must retake the class and initial exam. Another thing I think would just be so helpful. It's always great to refresh your knowledge on something, especially when it's something dangerous like firearms, when it's something about firearms. But regardless, we don't do stuff like that here in this country. And for the life of me, I can't fucking figure out why. Because it's like I said, even the fucking Fox News people, even the Fox News reporters and contributors now are sitting here saying that we need to not be the number one lead. We have the most gun deaths out of all the countries pretty much. Brazil has crime similar to the United States. And we're comparing the United States, one of the richest, most powerful countries in the entire world, to Brazil. Brazil, do you know how much money and how much more resources the United States has compared to Brazil? But yet we have crime statistics that closely resemble Brazil more than any other developed nation. And again, I don't know. You're not going to hear Fox News tell you any of this stuff. I don't even know. I'm surprised they let this guy talk this much about this stuff, honestly.
4 people left home this morning, and 4 people are not coming home tonight.
Exactly right.
That is something that we need to take into consideration. And when the governor says we shouldn't talk about certain things now, well, then I have to disagree with the government. We have to talk about guns.
There it is. He said it. Even on Fox News, we have to talk about guns. Because again, I already said this in the video, I've said it so many times before, across the board, across all of these massacres, there's always one thing: guns. There are always guns involved. That is the only common denominator that I can think of. Guns. It's a gun fucking problem. If you want to argue against that, shift the blame on something else, you are not living in reality.
AR-15 are killing our babies and our citizens in this country, and we've got to do something about it.
It is out of control, to your point, my friend. We are learning some other
I don't know what Neil said there. That's the end of the clip that I have here. But I'm sure that, Neil didn't expand on anything that guy said. Ted Williams there, again, regular Fox News contributor. He usually does the propaganda thing. But I did think it was a little refreshing to hear someone get on Fox News, a big program like Cavuto's, and, pretty much literally just straight up say, completely unfiltered, no dilly-dallying, no other bullshit, guns are the fucking problem. I mean, he just straight up said it. And again, I think that this just speaks volumes into how bad this problem has gotten, that even the crazy fucking awful propaganda news network like Fox is acknowledging and stating on the air that guns are the problem. But that's going to be it for the video. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, press that little bell, turn on all notifications so you guys never miss an upload.